Girl, Romeo Bingham making $2 million off
Oh,
of a
yes.
jingle on TikTok. My I See You girl this week, y'all, is this 26-year-old TikToker out of Tacoma, Washington, who is a walking and talking reminder of two things. One, if you have an idea, do it. And two, when you do it, post it. Okay? So here's some backstory. Few days before Christmas, Romeo is casually posting a jingle for
Have
Dr. Pepper.
been in a holding pattern, waiting for an apology, thinking that the apology was going to allow me to grow past or let go of the person, when it was really the lack of forgiveness on my part. You know, it's like me forgiving is a personal thing that you can control, but when you feel like somebody's hurt you and the wound has their name on it, and it's a them-sized wound, so you think, you know, because it's like you feel like they've taken a chunk out of your identity. You know, they did something.
I am really excited about Paris Haute Couture Week. And the only
Oui,
reason
oui.
and the only reason why I am especially locked in because Olandria is there. Our Bama Barbie. Yep. Yep. And it's a huge deal because especially this week in Fashion Week, it's notoriously exclusive, notoriously white, and very gatekeepy. And yet, here she is. And she is killing it. The first look was this design by Marhul Mishra called Heart of Gold. Hi.
Hello. Hi. The fun of podcasting.
Gotta love it.
The magic. The magic. Live and direct.
Live and direct. I hope you guys are doing well this week so far. Well, let's turn on this auto on responder and get into the episode. What's your out of office reply this week?
My out of office reply is I am currently out of the office minding my water and drinking my business. Take it as you will.
I like that. Minding my water and drinking my business. I love that. Well, I'm out of office practicing what we preach, which is focusing on rest, regulation, and nervous system care. And I am currently listening to vagus nerve stimulation music. It's a game changer.
Yeah, I mean, I was telling you about my humming and my vagus nerve
That's right.
regulation. So
That's right.
that's definitely, I do recommend, but evidently I've been doing that since I was a kid, the humming part, and not realizing it. That was a game changer to find that article. I was like, oh, so that's what I've been doing the whole time.
Just regulating your nervous system, which we
Yeah.
definitely need in these unprecedented times.
Yeah, unprecedented times for the country as a whole,
But
but not for everybody.
That's true.
Because some of us, as folks been saying, we done seen this before.
Definitely seen this before. But you know what we haven't seen before? My beautiful co-host?
You girl.
My girl, Romeo Bingham, making $2 million off of a jingle on TikTok. Let's just get into I See You girl. So my I See You girl this week, y'all, is this 26-year-old TikToker out of Tacoma, Washington, who is a walking and talking reminder of two things. One, if you have an idea, do it. And two, when you do it, post it. Okay? So here's some backstory. Few days before Christmas, Romeo is casually posting a jingle for Dr. Pepper on her TikTok. And she was lying in her bed, phone in hand, and she literally said, Dr. Pepper, I have a jingle. It goes, Dr. Pepper, baby, it's good and nice. Do. That's it. That's the whole song. And then she tagged Dr. Pepper. The video got 40 million views. A few weeks later, the jingle shows up in a commercial during the National Football Championship. And not only did they use it, she actually was involved. They licensed the jingle. And according to the Thread Streets, she got paid $2 million. $2 million from a phone on a bed. And now she has a partnership with Hyundai.
They're like, drive our cars, vroom, vroom, vroom.
No, it actually is
They
not too
go
far
far.
off. It's like I actually don't remember the jingle, but it's just as simple as the doo 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 thing that she did for Dr. Pepper.
Whatever.
It's incredible. I have never seen anything like that before. Like,
This
what?
the times that we are in, you know what? At this point, the point that you made, that you started with, is the right one. If you have an idea, just go on ahead and do it and post it. Don't think twice about it. Just go on ahead, because you never know. People are buying what they're buying. If that's what's going on, great. And if you can be part of that, I don't think there's any rhyme or reason to it. I think it's the same thing as buying a lottery ticket. So
Facts.
if you have an idea, if you were going to decide between doing your idea and buying a lottery ticket, do both, because you never know.
You never know.
Because you never
Because
know.
not everybody's shooting their shot. There's this one dude who did a Sprite one that's actually absolute fire. I will send it in the show notes. But I actually love this because, we grew up on jingles. And every
Mm-hmm.
once in a while, I will go on YouTube and look up jingles that from my childhood. So, like the other day, I actually looked up the Lifesavers one
Uh-huh.
and the Klondike. What would you for a Klondike bar? Those kinds of
Mm-hmm.
jingles that lived rent free in my head. So, anyways, look, I love this for her. I love this for us because I feel like this is ushering in a new era for, or not, another era, new era for jingles. So, yeah, keep them coming. I'm here for it.
I'm here for it. I'm all for somebody, a creator, getting paid to be creative and encouraging other people to to create. My ICU girl this week is Naomi Osaka, which she might have been my ICU girl another week. But I just thought that it's unfortunate that she had to take the higher road. I mean, the road that she's taken at this point is up the into the Alps. I mean, she's constantly having to take the higher road against opponents. Nobody's checking the bad behavior of sore losers, but
Okay.
whatever. In case you didn't see what happened, Naomi Osaka was playing at the Australian Open, and her opponent, to not be named because she did not win the match anyway, was upset that Naomi was hyping herself up. She was like, "Come on." She was giving herself coaching at the baseline. And she was like in between plays. So it wasn't like she was interrupting a serve. She wasn't It was not disruptive. She was just, hyping
Right.
herself up. And
Right.
so there was a complaint to the referee chair about Naomi hyping herself up from the woman who was losing. And so anyway, as it turned out, she ultimately lost and decided that when they were to handshake, she would proceed to chastise Naomi Osaka about hyping herself up during the match, which was obviously, uh, it worked. Maybe she should have tried it.
Wow.
So
Oop.
Naomi, I mean, I'm just, I'm just saying. So Naomi was very gracious, a gracious winner, but did not get to fully enjoy her win because once again, and maybe it's just me not paying attention, but I don't see that same type of energy being directed towards other competitors. I think a lot of this angst and
I
a lot of
agree.
this anger seems to be reserved for very particular competitors of a certain complexion in tennis. And I'm seeing that a lot. And it seems like it's acceptable to not have to maintain your own personal decorum as the losing competitor, provided that the person that you lost to was a person of color or woman of color. So I just think that there's a tremendous amount of disrespect. And I think that Naomi Osaka held her own and held herself in a state of graciousness despite that. But I see you, girl, for that. I mean, that's extra labor. That's emotional labor. That's extra labor as a competitor. That's carrying a burden that's not asked of other people. So
Yep.
for that and for everyone else similarly situated, this is acknowledging the extra burdens that we have to carry on a day-to-day basis. It's not costless, and I will talk about that later in health and healing, but I wanted to highlight that. So we see you, girl, and congratulations for that. Unfortunately, Naomi had to withdraw from the Australian Open because of an injury, but
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, that's a
yeah.
bummer.
Yeah, it's a bummer.
What's really
But
annoying about that is that it's really because there's all of these unspoken like tennis etiquette things that that becomes a
mm,
topic whenever this happens. Because this happened, I believe, didn't this happen to not Coco, but um
I know
the
who you're talking about.
you know who I'm talking about. Oh,
Mhm.
her name escapes me. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry to that woman. But it's almost always that. It's like,
Mhm.
well, should you be doing this? Should you not be doing this? And I'm like, but don't y'all be doing this? Because I know
But
for sure y'all be angry and y'all be yelling and doing whatever, whatnot. But of course, when this girl does it, it's a problem.
it's
Like,
something to examine. It's some
hello.
why what are rules used for? And who are they used against? And who do they benefit? And because obviously, and it's not really rules. They're not the established rules. There's this, oh well, this is the unspoken decorum, which the underlying what's behind that is, oh, some people don't belong here on the tennis court. And I think that we have to examine all of these things. And even if we don't have a solution for it today, we have to acknowledge what's happening so that you understand that it's a unnecessary and unearned burden that needs to be accounted for, which is why we're talking about regulating your nervous system, health and healing, wholeness, because there is a cost to all of this.
Yep.
And science is now stating it, but there's a cost to all of this. So at least the bigger problem is enduring it and then not realizing that there's something that you're enduring. So at least as we call it out, you can have it in your mind. You know what? This is unfair, but at least in the meantime, I'm going to treat myself with care. I'm going to try to find ways to offset this. And I'm going
Mm-hmm.
to make sure that no matter what, my nervous system is regulated and
Mm-hmm.
I can show up in the spirit of my own excellence, you know? So I think that's inspiring, and that's my I see you, girl.
Well, talk about excellence. Getting into what I'm on right now. I am really excited about Paris Haute Couture Week,
Mhm.
and the only
Oui,
reason
oui.
we and the only reason why I am especially locked in because Olandria is there, our Bama Barbie. Yep, yep. I'm going to remind listeners, Bama Barbie. We just learned about who she was about 6, 7 months ago on a dating show called Love Island. Okay, 6, 7 months ago, we learned about this girl. And now she is currently at Paris Haute Couture Week. And it's a huge deal because, especially this week in Fashion Week, it's notoriously exclusive, notoriously white, and very gatekeepy. And yet, here she is. And she is killing it. This is what, day 3? And she has been at least the shows, I think 4 different shows. The first look was this design by Rahul Mishra called Heart of Gold from his fall 2025 couture collection. And when you look at it, it looks like she's like enveloped in like a gold wave. It's like living gold jewelry. She was stunning. Her hair was slicked back. Her body was bodying, painted by Esther is doing her makeup this week. And just absolutely stunning. And then I also saw her at Valentino today as like a 70s bombshell. And then she was at Robert Woon's show in an all red number. It looked like 2 different days, but she literally put all of these looks in one day, Robert Woon and the Valentino one. There's also rumors that she's going to be walking in a show, which
Oh,
is
wow.
I know. I know. So if you're like me and you follow a lot of Black content creators or Black women in the fashion space, you already know how hard it is to get into any Paris Fashion Week. So the fact that she is at Paris Haute Couture Week, I really believe her presence signals something bigger, that it's going to be okay to let other people in. I think representation at this level, it just changes the game. And I'm really excited to see what else may come out of her presence there. I hope it allows more Black women, Black people to be there, to be present there at the shows, walking in the shows, being dressed by these designers. So I'm very excited to see more behind the scenes look. I've seen a lot of clips of her on the red carpet and people showing up with love and adoring her, and she's tearing up and then serving face immediately afterwards. So I'm very excited about Olandria being there. So my feed is, I'm constantly refreshing it because I need to see more of her on these at these events. So in a heavy news cycle, as I mentioned, she's been nothing but pure joy on my timeline. So that's what I'm on right now.
Girl, I love that for y'all, Olandrians. And I do hope I do I do hope that that does lead to actual representation. The one thing I think I'm like cynical in a way because I do feel like we've been here before in that there's
Mm,
someone sort of elected
yeah, that's fair.
out of nowhere to represent, kind of leapfrogged over a lot of other people, having been consistently applying themselves to the thing, and then they select someone out of the blue, and then we're like, oh yes, that's our hopes for representation, and it's symbolic. We don't question it or
Yeah,
examine it. We're like, it's symbolic, and but it turns out to be a one-off, and it's like, well, now there, we gave you this, and then now all of the people that have been consistently applying themselves all along, nothing continuously happens. And so that's my cynicism, where I hope that it's not that. But again, I just call a thing a thing. Like, this has been the pattern before, and
yeah,
maybe this is an interruption of the pattern. Maybe they are now looking back at people who have been consistently applying themselves to it and saying, okay, we need to give all of these people a second look, or we need to take them more seriously, or we need to give them resources. We need to put them in these positions, because if we just apply resources, it's not a question of talent. It's not a question of expertise. It's not a question of practice. Maybe it is just a question of resources. Maybe it is just a question of platforming, and
mm-hmm,
if we have those honest conversations, I think that could help a lot of people who of color, creators of color, talent of color, who've just been consistently under resourced, uh and and who need, deserve their day, deserve their
absolutely.
moment. So I am all for it, because I would like to believe, us despite my cynicism, that that it is ushering in
And
a
it is very
wave of.
valid.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's important to have all of the conversations at the same time. And I think those are the different perspectives. It's like, this is great, and let us claim what we want it to be, let us say, this is where we want to go with this, and this is what we're asking for, especially in exchange for our attention, and so yeah, as a Black creator,
Yes, I get it. I would
I'm
like to
like,
put an and also there was on this at the Scaparelli show, Richard Smallwood was in playing in
yeah.
one of the parts of the show, which blew my mind that a gospel song was being played as these models were walking down the runway in these really beautiful, stunning pieces. So I hear you, but I also am like, but Jane, they also played Richard Smallwood doing during the runway show. We've never seen that before.
Girl, I love it. I'm gonna go get your little dog Toto, and I'm gonna put him in a basket for you. Girl, No, I don't. I should not. No, I should be this skeptical. I should. I'm gonna
You're
be this
like,
cynical. No, I am gonna be. I'm gonna be. I'm gonna be it. I'm like, I know. I know. I know. But
oh my
I do not want to
gosh.
take away from the joy of the Nickelandrians, because we need all the joy that we can get at this point. So
Okay.
if that's making y'all happy, I'm like, I just want to give the rallying cry for the Black creators. We need more platforming, all of us. So we have sent your emissary, and come
Not
back.
your emissary. No, but
Come back
you're
and get the
absolutely
rest.
right. You're absolutely, she can't be the only one. Like, I think there is a little bit of like, I jokingly say that she's Jeremiah 29:11 in person. Like, if that was a verse, that it would be her. But she can't be the only one. I think we should capitalize on this moment to it, look. At the end of the day, does it really matter to be in those spaces? It does to a certain degree, but it's also as important to make sure that we create our own spaces to do the things that we want to do and not be subjected to the standards that have been placed upon us, right? Because we all, whenever we see someone in a very homogenous swipe space that it, just a little drop, we get really excited about it because we know how big of a moment it is. But yes, and right. So
Yes, and
I
I
get
guess
that.
I guess it's important to even question, why do we hold that excitement in that way? Why do we wait? Why does that hold so much value to us, that, oh, we're being accepted into this space that has not wanted us? Like, the exclusivity is excluding us. Like, that's what the exclusive
1000%.
means. It's exclusive of us. And so, so if that's the case, it's like, why do we find, and I'm saying this to myself too, just as a point of reflection, why do we celebrate these exceptions when the rule is at fault?
That's a word. Why? Repeat that again?
Why do we celebrate these exceptions when the rule is at fault? When there's a problem with the rule,
That's true.
you know? Just a question. I
You're
mean,
like, just a food for thought.
I'm just food for thought, just food for thought, y'all.
I
But
like
yeah,
that
so
question. I like
but
that question. That's a good question.
it's,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have an answer to it. It's just what we be thinking about. So what I'm on right now, again, y'all know what I've been doing. I've been I've been at 2 simultaneous deadlines. But in the meantime, I have been working out. I have been trying to be consistent with self-care, especially during my very first winter in a very long time. The seasons do affect you. So the lack of light, the cold, all of these things have an effect on our psyche and our motivation, all of these things. So it's like fighting the urge to hibernate. But I have been on consistently working out, because what I have found is that movement, especially weights, whatever your weight level is, whether it's light or moderate or heavy, but just doing resistance movements and being consistent has been the antidote a lot of times to this like seasonal malaise. But I was watching people all around me be in their winter mood. Like, it is a thing. It is, I mean, it could be called sad, like people say seasonal affective disorder, but it is a thing. People have the lack of, it's in the air. It's like
so tell me more about that, because whenever we think of seasonal malaise, which I think that is such an amazing way to frame this, I'm just gonna say malaise just all
seasonal
day.
malaise.
But typically when you hear this, you think London because it rains all the time, or the Pacific Northwest because it rains all the time. But it doesn't rain all the time in Detroit. It's cold and it gets snowy, but there's been some sunny
No
days.
sun.
No
Very
sun?
few.
Really?
Very few. So yeah, so you have to be prepared not to see the sun for days at a time, which affects so many things, including our vitamin D production and all these other things. So it's like you have, the gym gives you a sauna,
Right.
there's tanning bed, there's things that you can do that obviously you have to, weigh the risks versus benefits. But there is a concept of seasonal malaise. So I have been on really trying to counteract this with a consistent regimen of exercise. And that's the only thing I've found that works right now.
And are you taking vitamin D supplements as well?
Of course, every day. Coupled with K2, by the way.
Oh, yes. Gotta have that. And do you have a, what's that thing? Is it like a ring light? There's a specific light that you can buy that can help you with when you're in an environment that lacks sun. Forget what those lights are called. Do you have
Yeah.
one of those?
I don't. I guess certain light panels I think can help with. I had one before, but I don't have one here. I had one ironically in LA because I was like, I'm inside too much and there's not enough sunshine inside. Random. But purportedly they can help with the seasonal malaise and like help with serotonin production and getting exposure for your eyes, which tells your brain to make happy
Yes.
happy chemicals. But no, I haven't used that. I've only been using movement. And I think
Cool.
from what I've been researching, the movement itself, especially the resistance movement, tells your muscles to produce some chemicals of similar effect. I don't know if it's the same serotonin chemicals, but it stimulates your body to make happy sauce.
I love happy sauce. We love happy sauce. So,
Happy sauce.
I've been taking a page out of your book. I took your cue and started resistance training. And this
Yes.
last week, and I don't do it for many days. I only do it for one or 2 days. Now, stuck with my job, I have time now to, work out and sleep and,
Those basic
those
things.
things, those pesky things.
Sleep.
But I will say I've been doing the slow weighted. I haven't been doing HIIT or supersets. I haven't been doing
Mhm.
those. I've just been really slow with the weights, 10 pounds. What I've been doing? Squats, lunges, and then arm movements. And I don't break a sweat because that's not the point. The point is not to break a sweat. The point is to really work your muscle.
Mhm.
And I've seen a difference even in that. People will be like, girl, you can't see a difference in a week. But I do feel a difference hormonally, I feel in a week. Two things
Mhm.
I've been implementing: the slow weighted workouts and bone broth. I've been
Okay.
drinking bone broth consistently. The chicken one, I got it from Trader Joe's. I've been drinking it every morning. It's the first thing I drink. And then sometimes I mix in colostrum.
Mhm.
Amra colostrum. The Amra is the brand. I'll mix it in there. And I've noticed a difference. One, my cravings are gone.
Mhm.
And two, I've been sleeping better.
Mhm.
And what was the third one? Oh, my eyesight. I swear, it's a whole, like I said, the vagus nerve stimulation music should have given you the cue. It has been, and if you're new to listening to us, I lost my mom last year, late last year. So it's been I've been just resetting my whole nervous system because I realized that I'm just really stressed out and shot. Even if you quote unquote don't feel it, your body feels it.
Mhm.
So I've been trying to figure out ways that it's little small things that I could change in my regimen so that the minute I see something, like, I go, "Okay, this," because my eyes were getting blurry for some reason, and I was like, "What?" Then I thought I had diabetes, girl. I went through a whole thing, but it's not
Mhm.
that. It's hormonal, and so the bone broth but I really do credit. I think it's the weights the resistance training that I did. I did like 2, 3 times last week, and I already felt different from doing
Mhm.
that.
Yeah,
So,
it's
yeah, I
something
hear you.
that I think people really don't realize, and I didn't, because I'm one of those people. I did not realize how much of an impact weight training could have on all things, not just strength and not just, how our body manages its fat stores and all those other things, but just mood and how you feel. I could start my morning with feeling blah, but after getting moving and getting into particularly the weight portion of what I do for my workouts, I do feel better. I do feel better. So take it if you this might be somebody's sign to pick up 5 pounds or 3 pounds or a can from the cabinet in the kitchen if people still do canned foods.
What are weights do what how many pounds do you use for your resistance
Oh,
training?
I'm not the 'cause I've built up. I started with 10 pounds, and then every month, I
Mhm.
would graduate myself to a higher level. So I started with 10 pounds. I got 12-pound weights. I celebrated with my little 12-pound weight purchase. And then I went up to 15 pounds. And then I just graduated to 20 pounds. So I'll
Good for
do my
you.
rows with 20 pounds, my deadlifts with 20 pounds. And I still am doing my overhead press with 15. So as you will. But you can do any weight. You can do
Good
any
for
weight.
you. Good for you.
So yeah.
I
I'm
love it.
I'm a ladies who lift. I feel like that's a culture, a lifestyle I want to be
A
a
part
part
of
of.
yes, ladies who
And
lift,
you can wear cute
absolutely.
you can wear cuter clothes to the gym because you're not sweating them out. That's why I'm like, oh, people are like, oh,
Exactly.
I'm wearing my look for the. I see the influencers I follow, and they're like, I'm doing this is my makeup for the gym. And I'm like, why are you wearing makeup? And I was like, oh, you can because all you do is lift weights. I got you.
I love it.
Which is fine. I'm
I
all about
love it.
it. So minding my black business.
I don't have one this week. Do you have someone to
No,
talk about?
I don't have a new one. We talked about Curl Mix.
Yeah.
It seems like that's going well. We talked about the magnesium butter
Yes.
company
Oh,
last week.
yes, 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 yes.
So Tal by Tal, Body
I
by
love me
Tal,
some
Body
magnesium.
Love by Tal.
Mhm.
So yeah, I think we covered. Check out if you guys are looking for black businesses. We do our minding of my black business segment, most of our episodes, and we've covered quite a few black businesses. This is our 50th episode, by the way. So we have
Yes.
covered quite
Well,
a
we are
few
a black
black
business, so
businesses.
we might as well mind our
Yeah,
own.
we've been minding our own. I know. We have
That's
been
right.
minding. That's true.
50
Sometimes that's what it
episodes.
needs to be. I know, our 50th episode.
Look at that. Shout out to us. To
I
us.
know. To
I
us.
love that.
Well, it's just we just got started. What you were saying about creators, if you have an idea, just do it. We did. We just did it. We
In
just
large
got
part to you
started.
because you literally was like, I booked the studio, here the segments show up. Because I was like, podcasts? What do you mean? I don't do podcasts. You're like, we do now.
Yeah,
We do
that's what we're
now.
doing. We're doing. No, but that worked out. I mean,
It did.
that worked out. Sometimes you have to do it that way though. I have to do that to myself. Of like, okay, I'm just booking it. And then
No,
you
but
just
you're
have to then you have to
you're really good about this. I that's why I love you so much because you're really good about
oh.
seeing things because you are what does Blue say? You're not wrong, you're early. You're always early. That's what you always are. And I really I can't thank you enough because I feel like I've really grown into a version of myself that thought was possible but didn't really actually see in myself. And so now you can't tell me nothing. So
Girl, I love that. But that is what I live for. I love to see it. And I think for the celebration for me is seeing you come into who you are and your own and seeing that blossom. Like, oh, this girl, she
thank you,
is an
girl.
entertainer. Let them be entertained.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I just really appreciate your work ethic. It's not easy, and for y'all listening, we do this on top of everything else, and every week, sometimes it's a struggle. This week was a struggle. You probably won't, you may or may not know,
Yeah.
because we're going to do some good editing. But this week was a struggle
It
to
was,
just
girl.
be that consistent over. It's been over a year, but over 50 consistent episodes. It's just, if we can do it and there's something in you that you have in mind to do, you can do that thing. It's just a matter of getting
Absolutely.
started. And then every week tends to take care of itself. There's some weeks where we're like, "Oh, I ain't got it." But the best thing is when you're doing it together, when you're doing it when you're friends. It's just like
Amen.
when we sometimes there's a tearful phone call when we're supposed to record.
Multiple tears.
Multiple tearful phone calls. I'm like, y'all, one day we should tell the stories of how this podcast made it to 50 episodes. I'm like, there have been multiple days
Ciao.
of
But then every time we
Child.
do it, we feel better. And that's why it's
Yeah.
like, that's why I know this is what we're supposed to be doing. Shout out to real friends, girl. You a real friend. Shout out to real friends.
You're a real friend. Yeah. I mean, that's the other thing too. It's like we're really friends, and to be able to do something together that involves other people and bringing the best parts of ourselves together for other
Yes.
people.
Yes.
Hopefully this is helpful to those who are listening. And we always
Amen.
want to hear from you. So send us an email or check our show notes or check it for us on YouTube and leave us a comment. Or
Yeah.
TikTok.
I love your comments. But you know what? Going into Jesus Take the Wheel, you know who I wish had a real friend?
Oh,
Kanye.
he's Ye now.
Or Ye. I wish he had a real friend. I really
He
do.
I don't think he wishes that for himself.
You know, okay. So this is what I'll say. If you guys don't know, or you just didn't care to know, but we'll dive into it. Some of y'all be like, girl, don't talk about no Kanye. We ain't worry about him. But he took out a full page advert in the Wall Street Journal titled "To Those I've Hurt." And so he apologized for his anti-Semitism. He was like, I'm not a Nazi or an anti-Semite. I love Jewish people. And then he went on to explain his behavior. So apparently in 2002, when he was in that car crash that shattered his jaw, there was an undiagnosed brain trauma that was later
Oh.
diagnosed 20 years later. Okay.
Mm.
And that traumatic brain injury, I'm going to say TBI, that TBI apparently led to the diagnosis of him being bipolar disorder 1. Are you following me? Okay.
I am.
So, because let me just continue to tell what he said. So he said
This is what he said.
This is
That's
what he said. This is what he said.
Mhm.
He lost touch with reality. He talked about his bipolar disorder. He is now medicating himself, not self-medication, but with a doctor. So he's taking new medication, he's doing therapy, he's exercising, he has a clean living, yada, yada, yada. And he also apologized to the Black community and said that he felt like he's let us down. And then he closed it with like, look, this is not an excuse for what I did, but I just want to explain what was going on with me, and I hope you guys understand, and I hope to earn your forgiveness, and blah, 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 blah. Okay.
Okay.
Here's the thing.
I was waiting.
Now let's talk about the bipolar piece. Appreciate his honesty, because you know what? We do need to talk more about this, right? These disorders. So he talked about during his manic episodes, he would feel invincible. However, bipolarism alone does not have a direct line to distort your judgment to the point where you're hating people?
Well,
It
it doesn't make you hate people, but it does make you say hateful things. So,
but why Hitler?
because
Why Hitler?
it's the most hurtful thing to say. I mean, I have been in the presence of people with bipolar disorder
Okay.
and have been the target of their
Mm.
episodes, and the things that they say and that were said were the most hateful that you could muster. And
Okay.
it was
Okay.
like taking the knowledge of you and picking the thing that would be the most hurtful and hateful as low as you could possibly go. The lowest possible blow. And then and that is not everyone. That's just the I have this is my specific experience with someone who has, so I'm saying that I have experienced this with someone who has bipolar disorder, and picking the
Mhm. Mhm.
lowest place to possibly go, the lowest blow, and then that's the episode. That's the moment, and it's not, they don't mean that from uh they don't mean that tomorrow necessarily,
Mm.
or the next day. And so it's just this it's a very the experience of that for me was like, you have to decide what you're going to do with this person, and how and where they can fit in your life. And this particular person,
Right.
a lot of friends had distanced themselves, and it's just no contact, and
Mm.
there's medication, there's a lot of things that can address that, but I've seen that before. I mean, something like that.
Okay. So what I'm hearing is the bipolar disorder, because it can lead to destructive behavior. The way, because this is the thing that he didn't say in the letter, which I think that's what he
Mm,
was trying to say. So thank you for filling in the blanks there. Because I was like, I can't connect the dots yet. What's going on here?
mhm,
So from what you're saying is, because it's linked to destructive behavior, in his mind, the most destructive thing that he could do is lean into hate and anti-Semitism and adopt the whatever. Because remember, he had like a shirt with a swastika on it
mhm,
that he was selling,
mhm.
because it's not necessarily about the thing itself, but it's all about the how much destruction they could cause to them, around them, and themselves, essentially. Because once he did that, everyone kind of wrote him off and was like, okay, we're not fucking with you no more.
Well, I don't know that there's a way to characterize it as, I don't know if there's a way to neatly put it in a container and say this is what it is.
Hmm.
I also don't know I mean, that's what he says his diagnoses are, and that's what h- his medical team says is the issue. I don't know him well enough to dispute that or offer any alternative. So I think we're just having to accept what he says things are from his
Yeah.
perspective without
Yeah.
knowing. And I mean, another doctor may have a different diagnosis. Another professional might say it's something else. That's what his medical team is saying. So all we can do, I think, is look at the thing as what it is, and also decide how we're going to
Move on.
process
Yeah.
process what he's offered. I'm like, you can say whatever, but I all I could do is judge you based on what you do. You know what I mean? And so, like, it's the early, if you've turned over a new leaf, it's what? It's 2026 January. Check with me in 2028.
Yeah, for me, I think it's, look, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a psychiatrist or neurologist. I know I'm not a medical professor, I'm not in the medical profession at all, but I did a little digging and I was like, I don't understand. He lost me where he was like, the traumatic brain injury led to bipolar. And I'm like, no, I think bipolar is environment and I think it's genetics. I don't see how a car crash affecting your frontal lobe could lead to the diagnosis of bipolar. But again, you're right. Maybe his
You
medical
don't I mean,
team said
yeah,
that,
his
right?
medical team somebody in his medical team made that assessment. I'm sure they're credentialed. But the point is, really, do you believe him? Does it matter to you? You know what I mean? And
That's exactly where I'm leading to
if you
next.
don't,
Yes.
it's like you don't have to discredit it doesn't have to be credited or discredited. If you don't believe him, don't believe him. And if it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like, why he's not we're not related. I don't know him. I like his music. I've been a fan. I don't need I don't need him to be anything other than like who he is and what he is. And like if I he has a justification from his medical team or whatever that is. I'm just like, okay, well, in 2028, we're gonna look at what
Yeah.
happened from January 2026, and we'll compare the record, and then that will tell the truth of the situation.
Absolutely.
You
My
know?
my thing was his apology to Black people. And I was like, "Sir, you don't need to do that. You didn't let I don't think you let Black people down. I think you let yourself down.
Yeah. How
I
you yeah,
I You are a gifted person. You lost your way, and to say that like, "Oh, I need to apologize and I'm gonna do better." Like, I just want you to do what you need to do, boo, because I miss the old Kanye still.
Well, I mean,
You
but
know, like
people have a ability to change, and I think that's what our society where we are right now, we forget that.
mhm,
For all of the Christian principles and all the things that people espouse, this is the most anti loving, like we're just in the worst, most judgmental,
mhm,
stone throwing like place. And it's like we as a society, it's like, oh, look what you said in 1992. It's like, who I don't even know who that person was. You know what I mean? It's just like I'm not that person anymore. People change. I've seen like so many people be indicted by the things that they said, 15, 20 years ago as if they did not become a different person, and
right.
then they
We talked
and
about this
or
before,
people
yeah.
don't become different people. And so with now the one thing I will say about Kanye West for the past 10 years, he's been the same person. So, like I said, check with me in 2028. I mean, I'm
I
gonna see where
mean, where is the lie?
what will we be,
Where is
and
the lie?
what will we be? And I think people get their choices of like, it's like, how hurtful does somebody have to be? You know, it's not about, oh, I let Black people down, because how did you let Black people down? What did you do?
Eh, eh,
How we're still
we're still
Black.
here. We're still
I know
we're still
we
black.
still
We're still
we
black. We're still doing our
we just
thing.
had
Like
Martin Luther King Day a couple weeks ago. Like we still Black, we're still here. Everything, the trains are running on time, sir.
it just
So
felt like it also felt like an afterthought because, sir, you were the one saying that slavery was a choice. You were the ones,
right.
putting disrespecting the name of Harriet Tubman, right? So to say that is just like, okay, sir, it felt incomplete to me. And I
Yeah,
and I
it's of
really hope
course.
I really hope that Jesus continues to keep his hands on the wheel because there's still more work to be done here with Ye. But I'm sending him nothing but love. And I say this in I'm being really honest here. I send him nothing but love and grace. And I think healing requires honesty. And I feel like there's still some dots that need to be connected. But I will applaud him for saying what he did and move on from there. So it's a little bit of like Jesus take the wheel and a little bit of health and healing. And if you don't mind, if we are going into health and healing segment, there's a through line that I also want to bring in from Kanye's apology to health and
Oh,
healing, but just want to make sure that you didn't have anything for Jesus take the wheel.
it's a Jesus take the wheel health and healing overlap.
Yeah.
The So it was in the Washington Post this past week. They're quoting a study from the Journal of the American Medical Association that is acknowledging that the cumulative toll of stress, racialized stress on Black people, shortens our lifespan. So now there's medical studies actually qualifying and potentially quantifying the role that racism and discrimination plays on the lives of Black people. That's literally killing us.
Wow.
It's shortening our lifespans. So when we were talking about what we were talking about, and like I said, fast forward to this segment and speak about Naomi Osaka and a lot of the things that I've been saying, we don't have, as our community, a solution for these societal ills. But we do have individualized solutions for them that start with the acknowledgement of the problem, that our skin color, our presence in this racialized society, should we choose to be here, where we are citizens, where we are belong, that experience creates a stress by virtue of the society itself, the discrimination, the bias, the experiences that actually shortens our lives if gone unacknowledged and unremedied. I don't see the remedy. I don't see the societal remedy, but there is the opportunity for the personal remedy, which I think we've been talking
Right.
about
Right.
and we continue to talk about, is that personal accountability, that personal responsibility. When we say we're out of office, I'm out of office, this is what I'm doing, this is my health and healing, that's the acknowledgement. That's the operation under this acknowledgement that yes, every day you wake up in this society, the effects, the structures, and the experiences are acting to shorten the lifespan on average across the whole. And so I want, which I would presume we want, us to say, not me. That's not going to be me. That's not going to be me. And I'm offering this and saying this study exists simply for the fact, not to make it depressing or not to make it anything other than saying, oh, really? Okay. You know how Black women do. Okay. That okay. I just want to hear that okay. 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 That's not going to be me. And this is what we're offering, the ways in which regulating your vagus nerve, regulating your nervous system, the things that we talk about in this podcast. This is what we're offering. Once you make that acknowledgement, okay, here are the ways to bring yourself back to wholeness.
That's right.
So that despite what's happening in society, you know how to bring yourself back into alignment. You know how to bring yourself to erase those effects. And in fact, maybe even lengthen your lifespan because you've been proactive, taking action to deal with the societal ills that would otherwise act to reduce your lifespan. So we're hoping for more life. More life.
Amen. Exactly. I'm curious to read the full article. Were they able to quantify the number of years that is taken off of our lives dealing with this, or the average lifespan of someone that is, like us dealing with this, and what they expect? And did they offer any solutions? The article?
I haven't read the whole study. I've only read recaps. So I have not, in any of the recaps that I read, I have not seen
Right.
any solutions that are being offered. I think this is in the very early stages of just simply acknowledging the disparities, because I think we've been operating under the illusion, that it's an equal society, and we've eradicated the ills, and but no, there's internalized bias, there's systemic bias, there's all these things that we try to pretend like they don't exist, or some people try to pretend like they don't exist, but the reality is that no, they do exist, and they must exist because there's an actual measurable effect on the lives of the people that those practices disproportionately affect, which is Black people. So at the studies, that's the first step. And I think that all of us at this point are, I guess, crowdsourcing solutions to, the
Hilarious.
study is going to be, this was like a 12-year study, I believe. So
wow, they've been, oh man,
17-year study. So it's a 17 years from now, they might be offering solutions. So I think we have to, on our own individual levels and collectively, as a community, start offering
So they
solutions
started in
now.
2009. I
Mhm,
wonder what the
mhm.
sample size was, like, who were the Black folks that they were
More
including in
than
this study?
1,500 adults, both Black and white.
Wow. And
Mm.
so it was very clear, like, this is what happened to white folks, this is what happened to Black, like, you can't, it's science. There we go. Well, there
In
you have it.
JAMA, JAMA, Journal of American Medical Association.
Well, there we go. Well, I
Yeah.
think one of the things that we can do that's, quote unquote, like as you say, not me, is this is inspired by the Kanye apology. And I was thinking about what happens when you're waiting for an apology and and when it comes, it still doesn't land.
Mhm.
And how sometimes, I mean, I will tell you, I'm the first one to do it, that I will be waiting for apologies and waiting for someone to acknowledge what they did and waiting for that accountability. And you play a version of what that apology looks like in your head over and over and over and over again.
Mhm.
And then you get the apology and it's not what you thought it was going to be. And I've
Mhm.
learned that not every apology is going to look like the way you need it to look like. Right?
Mhm.
Like and a lot of the times, those apologies are not even coming from a place of like real, what's the word? Mm, re-
Contrition,
yes, thank you.
regret,
Yes. There, yes, some of them are rushed, some of them defensive, some of them are half explanations, and then
or justifications.
or justification, and then some of them you never get. You never get.
Mhm.
One of the biggest things I learned was that I stopped expecting for the apology to happen. I just let it go. Because if we're being honest, whenever someone does something to you, it's not really about us, it's about them, it's what they're carrying. So they're not going to acknowledge what they're carrying and apologize for it, because a lot of them actually like being where they are.
Mm.
Or they're not even aware that they're there. So I think that when it comes to moments like this, it's important to recognize that you need to stop letting their apology be tied to your closure.
Mhm.
I think, and then if you do get the apology, let that be more about information about them. You're not obligated to forgive or allow them back into your lives for whatever they did, but it's information for you from what they're dealing with. And I actually think I've learned a lot about myself whenever I hear someone apologize to me. I'm like, oh, you did that to me because I didn't check myself enough to allow you to not do that to me. Okay, so
Yeah.
I'm not gonna let anyone else do that to me moving forward. And
Right.
then it's like grieving.
Yeah.
You grieve for the apology that you don't get. But ultimately, it's just choose, do you do whatever you want to do. But I do think a lot of us are probably pausing and waiting for something to come back to us. I'm just waiting for them to acknowledge what they did. I know they did me wrong. I can't wait for them to come back. I can't wait for them to see me now. And a lot of times you're in a holding pattern because you're waiting for that thing to come. Don't
Mhm. Well,
let it go.
some people are need that to fuel them for whatever it is that they don't have full energy to do. It's just this is something we could talk about, I think, for a year. I mean, unforgiveness, unforgiveness versus forgiveness, apologies, personal growth, all of those things. And I think some people do, and I have been in a holding pattern waiting for an apology, thinking that the apology was going to allow me to grow past or let go of the
Mhm.
person, when
Mhm.
it was really the lack of forgiveness on my part. It's like me forgiving is a personal thing that you can control, but when you feel like somebody's hurt you and the wound has their name on it, and it's a them sized wound, so you think, because it's
Mhm.
like you feel like they've taken a chunk out of your identity. They did something and then it's shifted the way you think about yourself, and you feel like you can't become whole again without them putting that piece back in, which obviously, describing it like that, you realize, yes, you can't become whole again without them putting it. They did not,
Yep.
permanently take a piece out of you in that way. But I do think that what you get to do is draw boundaries. And
Mhm.
we're so bad at that, especially as a community, because our togetherness is a survival mechanism. So
Yeah.
we're very, very slow, whether it's family members or friends.
That's
We
such
do
a good
not want to
point.
disconnect.
Yeah.
At any cost. So even if somebody's hurtful, we hold on, I think, tighter than most.
Yeah.
When what we really need to do is draw that boundary and say, you've been
Ah.
hurtful.
Yep. You're
Yeah,
absolutely right.
like, don't do that. Yeah, you can knock, but you do not enter. And then the proper apology is the key to unlock the door a crack. Like, okay, that's why I was like, well, Kanye, we gonna see. Like,
Right.
I hear you. I realize that you potentially could change. You're dealing with your issue so that you know bipolarism is a real diagnosis. There is medication, there are things that you can there's treatment, there are things that you can do to manage it so that it does not hurt people.
Yeah.
If that's what's happening, if he's figured out how to manage it now so that he's not no longer hurtful,
Right.
then that's going to be shown over time. And I think that he would have to understand that people are going to rightfully have their skepticism and trepidation and, like, mm, fool me once, fool me twice, fool me 17 times, and 10 years later,
Right.
I don't know, brother. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. So yeah, but I have I think what you've hit on is such an important conversation that's so much bigger than even this.
Yeah.
That the idea of an apology, I got an apology one time that was sufficient. That was like exactly what it needed to be. It was the most amazing miracle, and it made me realize how unusual something like that is. Of all
Mm.
the people that owe me apologies, I've had people who have done wrong and then have been like, "Hey girl, what's up?" And I'm like, "No." I know. I'm an Aquarius. Remember that. Remember that. Like, no, boo boo. Um, but one apology, one time, somebody is an ex-boyfriend who may watch this podcast, so you know who you are when I tell this story, because
Oh.
we cool. We're still cool. No, we're super
Oh,
cool.
okay,
I,
good.
I have I have utmost respect for him. And it's mutual. We're each other's fan clubs. But we had a horrible breakup. Like, we were so tight when we were together. We were like, this is, whatever. And then we had a horrible breakup. It was crazy. It was his fault. And
I
and
love how definitive you were with that. You're like, "And it was his
it
fault,
was his
and
fault.
moving on."
It was his fault. And so I was devastated. I was so heartbroken. I was like, oh my gosh, this is whatever. Fast forward by 4 years, okay? Um, 4 years, and it was what that did for me, though, I will say, as a Black woman, career woman, I did not allow myself room for emotional breakdowns. I was like, "I don't have time for feelings, I don't have time for
Mm.
emotion," and I allowed myself to actually feel and cry and all kinds of stuff. So that he unintentionally did that favor for me. But anyway, fast forward 4 years later, I run into him, and I was like, "What, what's been up? How you doing?" or whatever. And he says what he says, and I just was like, "I can't have a conversation with you honestly without saying that what happened was heartbreaking and devastating." Like, I
Mm.
cried for a year. I
Mm.
did. And it was so painful. It was awful. And he just, like, looked at me and received everything I said. I just told the truth, because I was like, I cannot sit here and be like, "What's been up?" and, like, listen to anything you have to say out of your mouth at without me acknowledging the effect that you had on me, and basically explaining to you why I really can't interact with you right now. Like, because the last person I interacted with in your body
Right.
was very hurtful. And he received everything I had to say. And then he was like, "I'm sorry." He's like, "I'm sorry." He's like, "I'm so sorry." And he's like, That version of me was very broken person."
Wow.
And he was like, "I'm so sorry." And he gave me a hug and just told me,
Wow.
"I'm so sorry." And it was like and it was so authentic, and it was so that hug was it was one of the best moments. If I was writing a book, I'm like, which it may find its way into a book at some point, because it was one of the most authentic moments that from a black man. He's a black man. Um, one of the most authentic moments, and just real, which let me know that set the standard for me. Like, okay, this is what an apology should be.
Right.
But it was such a miracle because I don't have that expectation for that to arrive. But that is what opened the door for us to be cool in life, where I'm like, okay, yeah, we are each other's biggest fans. Maybe not biggest, but
I love it.
let's put it.
No, I love that you got that because I'm there's definitely an apology that I'm still waiting for. Well, I'm not waiting
Girl.
for it anymore because I know I'm not going to get it. But I haven't no no I haven't had a genuine apology. No, I haven't. So that's
You're like,
beautiful.
no.
No, I'm like going through my head of the people that wronged me, and it hasn't been a lot of people, so I've been blessed by that. But there's one person that did give me an apology, but it was a very half-assed apology, and I think it was a deceptive apology, and I think it wasn't genuine, and I held on to that for a very 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 long time. And I let it
Did,
go. I was just like, you know what? It's not coming. I don't care. I moved on with my life. It is what it is. Like, I'm not going to put my life on pause because the apology that I did get, it doesn't look like the way I wanted it to. And
mm,
this person is filthy. So, yeah, let's
did,
just keep it
did
moving.
they listen to the podcast?
No.
Oh, okay.
Maybe.
Because I was
Actually,
like,
maybe. I
because
don't
I was
know.
like, because now you know what you need to do.
That's, well,
Here's the
listen.
instructions. Okay.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know, and I'm being really genuine when I say this, and I don't care. But
Boom.
but yeah, I mean, if that person is listening, I'm better now.
You said, damn, I'm better now.
I'm better now.
Ooh.
And thank you for your services because
And
I
thank
learned
you
my
for your
worth.
service.
Yeah,
Ouch.
thank you for
Girl,
your
that's the
service.
best. Now we're talking. This is the type of, in lieu of an apology.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for your service. Thank you for
Thank
your
you.
time.
Thank you.
It's very
No,
Ariana
thank
Grande.
you.
Thank you
Yeah.
next. Because if I
Yeah,
didn't
thank you.
go through that with that person, I don't think I'd be here. I think I would have become who I am today, but it just would have looked a different it would have been a different life. Right. Yeah. But yeah, I just don't wait for that apology. Just keep it pushing.
Mm-mm.
Just keep it
Don't wait.
pushing.
Yeah. I had one person that I mean, there's a whole long list. So this is just like one person of many who technically owes me an apology, but actually I don't care. But at the time, I had to go through a spiritual experience. I prayed and meditated. How do I forgive this person? Because I just knew that I needed to move forward. I at
Wow.
least had that awareness. And the only thing that came back to me in that prayer and meditation was, you need to be able to thank him. And I was like, thank him? Thank him? What?
That's
You know?
real.
And the idea that arrived was, he did you a great service. And 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 this is what happened. It was an instance where this person made me, I think I talked about this, he made me more angry than I was afraid.
Yes.
That was blocking my progression into the next version of myself. And the next version of myself was blocked by fear. And so here was this
Mm.
person that wronged me in such a way that made me more angry than afraid. I told this story in a previous episode. I don't know what episode number it was, but if you know, you know, if you're a listener, you know that you've heard the story before. But
Yes, ma'am.
but the concept was to be able to thank him, to release myself from the need for an apology.
Facts.
So
That's
so
what
yeah,
we not waiting for no apology here.
we not waiting for apology.
No. But I was looking at
This is
time. I'm
such a
like,
valuable, yeah, but no, this was deep. I'm so glad we get to talk about it. We need to
but
talk about this another time.
yeah, we should do a part 2 of this and actually
Yeah.
bring in an expert, a specialist like in this space because again, we're not medical professionals and we don't hold degrees. We hold degrees, but not those degrees. So we want to bring someone else into the conversation to
I
also
would
give you
love
some
to.
tools.
I would love
Yeah,
to talk to
right?
somebody. Yeah. Also, I think we need to have a conversation about mental health and mental health awareness in the Black community in particular, because we throw these terms around and often, and we don't actually have good understanding of what it's like to live with somebody with some of these
Yeah.
diagnoses, what self-care looks like for a family member. And I think sometimes when we have these parasocial relationships where we are part of the audience, but we feel a social connection to some of these celebrities, it's almost like we're family members in a way, and we need our
Mhm.
own therapy and support to deal with the personalities that are presented to us, because certain things are hurtful. And it's, again, it's a parasocial relationship. It's not a direct connection, but you do feel a connection to people who you don't know, but they do have an effect on you. So that is a modern phenomenon of what's called parasocial relationships. If you've never heard of this before, it's a thing. I'm not making it up.
Oh no, we talked about it
Um
with Nick Olandria. So
oh no,
we
I'm
yeah,
talking about, yeah. Okay,
we're
we did. Okay.
yep, we sure did. We sure did. I talked about the good things about being in a parasocial
We
relationship with
did.
folks,
I
but yeah,
remember.
there is a negative side to it. So but yeah. But before we wrap up, I just want to quickly touch on something that's really good this week. I have no idea who this man is, but he goes by IShowSpeed. And he did 20 countries in a month, 20 countries in the continent of Africa in 28 days: Algeria, Angola, Benin, Botswana, Egypt, Eswatini, Ethiopia, Ghana, Ivory Coast, Kenya, Liberia, Morocco, Mozambique, Namibia, Nigeria, Rwanda, Senegal, South Africa, Zambia, and Zimbabwe. This man live streamed at every single country to 50 million people. 50
What?
million people
Fi
tuned in.
50
Yes.
million people? What
50
platform, do you
million.
know?
Girl, I don't know. I don't know who this man is. I just saw him
Who
on
this
Threads.
man? Hopple, who this man?
I saw him on Threads and I was like, wait, he's in Benin? What is he doing? Because, my people are from there. And
Yes.
he's like the Onaija for the continent of Africa. He has single-handedly introduced all of these people to all of these countries and cultures by eating the food, visiting the villages, laughing with the locals. He's dancing with these folks, he's engaging with these folks, he's learning about the culture, and it's a completely different view of Africa that usually, comes on in the commercials where with hungry babies and all this shit.
Mhm.
Like watching him go to the continent and then watching all of these people embrace him and receive him with so much joy. It is so beautiful to watch. And I've seen people say, oh, I'm going to now go visit these countries. I never heard of Benin or never thought about going to Benin, but I'm going to go now and I'm going to invest or I'm going to do this and that and the third. It is so awesome to see this young Black man be smiling ear to ear and watching all of these people receive him for who he is. Because again, I didn't
Mhm.
know who he is, but he's worldwide. So shout out to IShowSpeed. I don't even know his real name, but shout out to him for wiping away negative stereotypes about the continent in these 60-second clips. I mean, literally, it's a game changer. It's a 100% game changer. And I'm not gonna watch him, but I am very excited for him. And
I need to, it's my virtual, maybe a virtual vacation. Is he still doing it, or this is
he
all
just wrapped it
recorded
up.
now?
Yeah, he just left
Oh,
his last, but go back and watch these clips. They're floating
I'm
around on
going
Threads
to.
and
I
IG.
show speed.
I show speed. I have no idea where that came from. I don't know. I
I
just
love
saw
it.
him on Threads and I was like, who is this man? And I was very impressed by him and what he was able to do with his tour of Africa. So it's pretty dope.
Yay.
It's pretty dope.
Well, all I have to say is get your golden goblet out of the cabinet.
Oh, Love is Blind.
Rinse it out.
Yes.
Get
Let's
ready.
do it. I will
Get
watch it
ready.
with you this season. I'm committed.
Yay.
I'm ready to go.
Girl. Okay, well, I mean, I'm just saying, I can't vouch. I cannot vouch for the quality of program at this point. Now we are deep into the weeds. The last season was highly disappointing. I can't even I would not even I don't at this point I don't even know if I would ask people who weren't already watching to watch it with me. But since you offered,
I'm gonna watch.
Okay.
I'm gonna watch. I'm committed.
We will go through this together. I
Yes.
don't know. We are officially in the wilderness. Love is Blind viewers, if you watched last season, you know, if you know, you know where we are. We're in the wilderness.
Oh my gosh.
We don't know. We don't know where we are. We don't
That
know
show
what's
was
going to
so
happen in the
ridiculous.
next season.
I'm loving it. I'm ready.
This is fool me once, fool me twice, fool me 3, 4, 5 times. But I'm still here. This is officially toxic. I am in a toxic relationship with Love is Blind.
Mm-hmm. That's mine.
I mean, I deserve an apology. I do.
Seriously. Chris Colin and Critical Content.
I deserve an apology.
We deserve an apology.
I deserve to be hugged.
Child. Talk about apology. We do need an apology from them.
For this series, because I have watched every season without fail religiously, and I just say I deserve an apology, and I hope that this season suffices. I hope that this season makes up. I hope this season is the hug in the parking lot. That's all I'm gonna say.
Well, we can only hope.
Exactly. I do not have high expectations, but I'm just saying.
I can't.
I'm saying what I need.
Let's get into the final word before people were like, y'all are just talking. But yes, let's get into the final word.
Final word.
Yes.
My final word is don't ever speak negatively about yourself, even if you're just joking. Your body doesn't know the difference. Words are spells. That's why it's called spelling. That's from Bruce Lee.
Ooh, Bruce Lee. Okay, I see you.
Kung Fu master. Yeah, Bruce Lee. So yeah, don't ever speak negatively about yourself because your body doesn't know the difference. I stopped when I heard that. I was like, you know what? Because, we always do make these statements about ourselves like, oh, I'm so whatever. I always blank. It's like, no.
Sure do. Sure do. Well, mine is not every wound gets an apology, but every wound deserves care. So give yourself what they couldn't and let that be the closure.
I love that. That's a good capstone for this episode.
Yes. I'll be writing too sometimes.
Girl,
well,
you be writing.
Guys, thank you so much for listening. We love you for joining us week after week. Episode 50, we did it.
We did it. We did it.
I know you were going to say. I know you were going to say. You can't say it.
No, I can't.
All right, y'all. Have a good day. Good week.